Okay. Dan who? Dan double you. Let's go. Ow, wow, listen right now. Everybody knows the man that says pow. Start the show, gonna talk some toys. This is for the grown-up girls and boys making noise. Let's start the show. Talking Marvel Legends and the money that we blow. Honestly, look, there ain't no stopping me. Turtles and Joes too, let's do this properly. Need to buy more toys, don't tell my bank. Wasn't me, promise it was Hellfire Hank. Whole Who crew, look, they made me do it. If it lands in my door, then I best review it. Screw it, I don't usually boast, but I got Rich M, he's here to host. Raise a toast and raise some ducks. This isn't your average show, we're deluxe. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. Hopefully you already are, and welcome to the Dan Who Live episode 224. Hope you are doing well on this Thursday evening. We are back to recap the week that was in Marvel Legends. And if there's not a lot of news, and you know me and Rich will go and do some digging and diving and being a little bit nostalgic. And that's what today's stream is about, as we're talking about X-Men retro cards. Those glorious orange cards. You may see the t-shirt, which is inspired by such nostalgia. Obviously everybody's favourite Dan Who Blue Beast. All a tribute, of course, to the Toy Biz days. So that is what we are discussing today, this X-Men retro card goodness. And a man who is an expert at the X-Men goodness, it is, of course, this paper wants Rich M. Rich, how you doing?
Hello, Dan. I am doing very good. You all right?
Would you say you're an expert? If you are a mastermind, would you be good at an X-Men?
Do you know what? I have thought about this, and I think X-Men from like 1980s to 2010s I could do.
I think you'd be very good, yeah.
Or British girl bands.
Yeah,
one of them too I'd probably be good at.
Yeah, Rich, what is your specialist subject? Girl groups or X-Men from the 90s?
Oh, I could do every Real Housewives of every city ever. I could do that as well. I've got an array of talents, Dan. An array of talents.
Vast range as well. But yes, we are talking about the X-Men cards today because if I move the chat just for a moment, we will come and say hello to you guys in a second. But these two cards have already been announced for 2025. We have Professor X in his jumpsuit. We can blame Brandon for that one, I'm sure. And we have just had Jean Grey as well. Chadwick with a super chat, nice and early. I appreciate that. He said, Mr. Dan, did you get my tragic chameleon photos? I think I did. I will, once I've done the housekeeping, I'll check my email, because I think he had a QC issue with Chameleon and he wants me to spread some awareness. So yes, I will get back to that, Chadwick. Bear with me. Let me go through the housekeeping. So yes, we're going to be discussing, we're going to be going back in time, of course, talking about what characters originally came on this card that we haven't got yet that we would want. And also, what ones have we got so far? Because Hasbro have given us quite a lot already. Like, this is a checklist of all of the X-Men retro cards, both good guys and bad guys. The bad guys were on the purple card, remember. We've only got one X-Force card so far. That is Deadpool in the black. We've got none of the good guy X-Force cards in the blue so far. But lots of orange and purple cards. More orange than purple, granted. But the character designs are from here, there, and everywhere. You can't really complete any particular teams, which is something we will discuss today. But yes, we're going to be talking about the X-Men retro cards because Dan, Ryan, and Dwight did say on their January stream more would be coming. So these two are the ones that have been revealed so far, but more are coming. Remember, I've put a poll in the chat right now that asks, what retro card are you most nostalgic about? So as I bring up the chat, Rich, how would you answer that question? What Marvel Legend retro card are you most nostalgic about? Now, I've only got 4 categories and we've got more than 4 themes. So I've put X-Men, Spider-Man and Iron Man, and then other. And other would be Secret Wars, Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider. Where would you fall? What is most nostalgic for you?
I put other because I want the Generation X retro card. Make it happen, Dan. Who make it happen?
Yes, we need to try and get this to happen. Last year was the perfect opportunity because it was Generation X's anniversary, but we have got Husk in this year's wave, so they are aware of who Generation X are. But
they've done half the team now though, so I don't think we get any done. I think that boat has sailed far away.
You never know, because we did get Ghost Rider, just a one and done Ghost Rider on a unique card back, and we have not had an accompanying wave for Ghost Rider. Same with Deadpool on the Black X-Force card. So who's to say they might not just give us a penance or a jubilee even?
It'll just be Gaia, the member for like 6 issues. That'll be Gaia on a card.
You'd still buy it, Rich. You'd still buy it.
I would still buy it. I would still buy it. I'd buy 10 Gaias.
But yeah, please get involved in the poll on the chat. What Marvel Legends card is nostalgic for you? Now, you do have to be of a certain age for something to be nostalgic. I think the sweet spot for nostalgia is about 25 years, that quarter of a century mark where you start reflecting and looking back fondly. And I'm sure there's people in the chat that are not even 25 yet. So you probably weren't even around when these figures were on the shelf. But me and Rich are old.
Do you know what retro is, Dan? It's when you start, when you go to a club, and it's like retro night now is 2000s. 2000s now is a retro night.
Yeah, I know, that's mad.
It's like, come on.
The year 2000 is a retro night. That is crazy. But we were children of the 90s when these figures were out. And again, this is a lot of people's gateway drug to all things Marvel. These toy lines that accompanied the comic shows as they were following the formula of the 80s. Where in the 80s, the toy lines were made first and then they made the cartoon as a giant advert to sell the merchandise, like He-Man, for example. Turtles is another one. Well, the Turtles were the comic first, but you know what I mean. It was a big merchandise machine is all my point. And Marvel started to do that as well, and X-Men was the sort of first one out the gate. So, yes, I would say I'm very much nostalgic for this orange card. Now, I love that we got Blue Beast on the orange card, but I don't mind the lab coat, Rich, but it's like I can't pose them together and it be a complete tribute. Do you know, like I wanted a jacketless
at least you got a lab coat. Poor David Evan Smith is out there. He never got his boots for Jean Grey. He's still crying about that now.
True. Shout out David Evan and Smith. And let's shout out some people in the chat. But first, let me go through the housekeeping first and foremost. We will be doing a Dan Who extra show tonight. So if you are part of the Who Crew Deluxe, you can not only watch the extra show, but you can be a part of it. You literally jump on the show. Always a good time. It's like a mini Legends and Liquor, basically asking your guys' thoughts on today's theme. So we'll be talking to you guys about your nostalgia for these X-Men lines and who you'd like to see in the line this year. Of course, if you want to super chat, you can do so. Anything over £4 or $4. Friday, our Talking Robot Assistant will interrupt the stream and read out loud your super chat, and it goes towards supporting what we do here. Thank you very much. And of course, hit that join button if you want to take it one step further. But as I said, it's all about the bonus show, and I'll be putting up a goal tonight as I usually do. And if we hit that goal, then I will leave the bonus show to be public tonight. So I'll start that now, Rich, before I completely forget. So I'm going to go 5 super chats at the Friday tier, and we're going to go Dan Who Extra will be live, will be public. If you're a channel member, you can always watch these on the replay, so don't stress if you're not here live, but it is always a good time. So I'll start that poll, start that goal right now, and let's say hello to some people in the chat. Let me scroll up a little bit. People were in nice and early, which I always appreciate. Rich says hello. Tac was in nice and early. He says, retro card, Lifehouse style 90s Deadpool. Come on. Well, we do have this card. We do have the X-Force card that did get a re-release. So this used to be really hard to find, but it's actually not that hard to find now. You can probably still get this at retail if you look in the right places. But so far, the only card on the black. Have you got this, Rich?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you keep it on card? Or did you open him? Because he's a little bit shinier.
I did keep it on card just because I had that. I liked the single release with the holding attack, and then obviously last year you had the super articulated pinless 2-pack. So yeah, I've never opened it. It is on the card.
Same. I've never had to open it because we did get this single packed, but without the sort of metallic in a wave. I can't remember what builder figure it was. I'm sure the chat will tell me. But yeah, I agree with you. My main Deadpool on the shelf is that 2-pack version with Hydra Bob. So yeah. So Tac, you've already got yours. Andrew says Ferrell and Rachel. Good shout, Shatterstar as well. We'll be talking about these Super Sorrels in the chat. He says, evening, Super Sorrel. We want to know more about these Power Rangers, Sorrel.
Show us your Power Rangers, Super Sorrel. Where's the leak pictures? Leak them out there. Come on.
We need to know more. What did your eyes see? We need more detail. Are they retro? They're not Lightning Collection continuation. We know that at least. But what are they, Super Sorrel? Cloud Foxwell says, damn, yeah, I forgot about Feral. Oh, we got a super chat from California Red Devil.
California Red Devil donated $4.99. Rumor has it MCU is casting Gambit and Kitty Pryde. Isn't that great? Give me a gateway on retro all day.
Kitty fucking Pryde, what?
Friday's got a cold or something. She sounds different. That ain't Friday. Friday's been kidnapped. Something's happened.
Skynet is taking over Dan.
Honestly, I've not done that. So I miss what happened. That am I wrong, or is that Friday's voice is changed? That freaked me out a little bit. Something has happened to Friday. California Red Devil says, rumor has it MCU is casting Gambit and Kitty Pryde. Isn't that great? Give me a gateway on retro all day. Now, I never quite believe what California Red Devil says. Do you believe him?
No, why are they casting Kitty Pryde for?
And they've already got a Gambit, right? They've already got the best Gambit they could ever want, right? So,
Channing Tatum.
Who is your dialect coach? The Minions. AI has taken off Friday. Yeah, something has happened to Friday. That was weird. Friday's variant, says Jamie. It's Friday's sister, Thursday, says Andrew. Shout out to Andrew as well, by the way. He sent me a picture earlier shopping at a shop called Soulbees or Shalbees. Never heard of it, but it had Sonic figures that I'm after. So shout out Andrew. He managed to pick me up Tails and Sonic, which I appreciate. Still on the hunt for Knuckles, anybody? If anybody sees Knuckles in the wild, let me know. Me and Cole are both after Knuckles.
Well, from Sonic 3?
Yes, from Sonic 3, yes.
When they in Smiths?
Yeah, but months before the film came out, I thought they'd be there for ages, and they're just really hard to find now. I think Shadow's still about, but Knuckles is just the elusive one. So, yeah, looking for that. Gary A says, boo advertisement. Yeah, indeed, boo advertisements. But I appreciate it because it does help the channel, all right? So I appreciate your patience as those adverts pop up. I have it on the lowest setting, by the way, so they shouldn't pop up too much during an hour and a half stream.
I like how you justify this, and every week I see you putting it on the maximum setting and counting all your money before the show. Your bags of your money that you got.
Don't spread rumours like that. I've already got Alexi telling the world that I don't like Jada Toys, which is a lie. So, yeah, people are trying to ruin my poor reputation. I already have a poor reputation. But you guys are dragging me through the mud. Super Soul, he says, no photos, I'm afraid, but the character booth has tons of awesome new toys this year. And what I will say is this year is all about a nostalgia. So, yeah, that's really on theme. That is really on theme for today's stream because that is what we are talking about today. So, right. Let me get my pictures back up, Rich. Oh, well, let me look real quick, actually, on my email, because...
I reckon Superstar wanted to sign an NDA or something, and he was like, you're not allowed to say what the characters are we doing, what the articulation is,
it's called Mighty Morphin Ignition, or Reignition, so, or Reignite, or whatever. So it's obviously Mighty Morphin again. So it's going to be, I reckon, 4 to 5 inch scale sort of Mighty Morphin, maybe flip heads back, or I don't know. I don't see him going past...
See, you did. You had to sign an NDA. Can't say anything. But we didn't sign no NDAs.
If I knew Power Rangers were there, I would have bloody went. But otherwise, there wasn't anything there that interests me. But that's my own fault. My own fault. Chadwick. Okay, so Chadwick sent me an email. And he said that Chameleon has got a QC issue. Now, for the record, my Chameleon that Rich tracked me down is on my shelf, on my display. No QC issues at all. Absolutely fine. But Chadwick says this is a common thing where the bout is snapped off, as you can see there. Now, that wasn't the case on mine, and I didn't realise it was a widespread thing. Now, I don't know. Maybe this is a perfect time.
No, Scorpio got it as well. It's on his review.
Okay, so... maybe there are a few unfortunate ones that,
and you can't see it from the front of the packaging either because it's like in until you like pull it out. I'm guessing you can't see it.
Okay, yeah, there you go. You'd have to be so okay if you're looking These are hitting the US shelves, so if you are managed to find these at retail, maybe just have a closer inspection of your chameleon. So Chadwick is doing the good work and spreading this to the community. We don't have this wave yet in the UK, and it won't really hit retail either. Maybe a few Forbidden Planets if you're lucky. Otherwise, it will just be online. So if anyone gets this
next week, I think it's
the 6th, the 6th. So
apart from Spider Boy, which has been like pushed back to May.
No, he didn't even move. I checked, and didn't it go back to the 6th?
Oh, I had an email today saying it'd be moved to May.
Oh, don't listen to those emails from Pulse. They're drunk. The guy who does the Pulse emails is just a drunk guy bashing the keyboard.
Husk is coming tomorrow, or maybe in April. Either this is shipping out, or we pushed it back. One or the other. We don't really know.
We'll check Pulse in a minute because there is a pre-order gone up today. There is a little bit of Marvel Legend news. So there you go, spreading some awareness. I am sorry that has happened, Chadwick, but hopefully you can get a return or a replacement because, yeah, that's not very good. Or you might want to cut off his harness and then glue that bout onto another character and have a chameleon incognito in your shelf and turn some bad QC into a little Easter egg on your display. Now, you shouldn't have to do that, but I got money in the bank. Find a silver lining is all. Chadwick with a super chat.
Chadwick Myers donated $5.
That is not fun.
Doesn't even reach to glue it. It's like a whole centimetre of the belt is missing. Some say it's a blessing as now you can put the belt on others.
Yeah, thank you very much for the super chat, Chadwick. I appreciate that. He says it doesn't even reach to glue it. It's like a centimetre missing. So maybe some heat. Maybe find the character's waist that you want to attach it to and heat it up and glue it, maybe. But yeah, that is not fun. That is not fun. Who's Roy? I have no idea. Adam just shouted, "I'm with Roy," and then deleted his own comment. So, no idea who Roy is.
Maybe you meant Rory. Rory's reviews in the chat. Maybe you meant Rory. He did. He meant Rory. There we go.
My bad. I caught him before he retracted it. Who the hell's Roy? Roy's reviews. No, shout out Rory's reviews in the chat. Right, today's pre-order is Electro. Now, this is a Amazon fan channel. So it is on Amazon US, but it's also on the fan channel sites. It's gone up on Pulse. It's on Star Action, In Demand, Comic and Cocktails. All of your regular Marvel Legend places here in the UK. It is that last villain you need to complete that lineup of the No Way Home movie. Over 2 years since the film, right, Rich? I think.
Yeah.
So we got there eventually, people. All right, we got there eventually. I will be getting him. He's got the same electric effects that has just come with the female Francine Fry in the Spider-Man wave, but otherwise he looks pretty good. I said I'm in on this because obviously I still get all the MCU stuff, but Rich, you said you are out.
Yeah, no interest in this, and it's £36. So yeah, no point for me. No need.
Yeah, no need. But something to note about this, if you missed it, the star does not come off. There is no Jamie Foxx likeness. It seems like that is how they've worked around that, maybe, because the eyes are whited out and he's got a big shiny star on his face, which is a callback to the classic design in the comics, and it was a scene in the movie where the electric effect created like a star. So I don't mind it at all. I will be getting this, adding it to the collection. But that went up for pre-order today. As Rich says, it's £35 essentially. So if this is £35, that maximum series Spider-Man's not going to be, is it? Let's be honest now. But anyway, I'll shut up about that. I'll let other YouTubers continue that conversation. We have had our piece on that, but there you go.
CT Toys stream next week.
CT show. Let's get them on. Okay, so that is your pre-order for today. But we want to go back to talking about the X-Men retro card. So as I said, Hasbro have been doing these for a good few years now. We've got maybe 2 full waves. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rich. 2 full waves with a spattering of like exclusives and variants throughout. Because I know we got the Grey Beast as well. Yeah. We got like the White and Black Storm. We got randomly Rogue and Gambit as separate releases. They weren't part of any like 6-figure wave. Apocalypse is there as a separate, is a deluxe. Is there any more deluxes for the X-Men? No, it's not. So Apocalypse is the only. Yeah. Professor X, the Warlord Professor X, was also just an extra random one that came at the end of last year to sort of accompany your uncanny, your uncanny X-Men. So yeah, 2 full waves and then a spattering of single releases. So what have you got so far out of these, Rich? Are you in on these? Do these interest you? Is it just a case by case, or are you a sucker for the retro card? What have you got out of these so far? What do you like?
I've got all of them, but the only ones I've got multiple of are the ladies, and even Deadpool, haven't took them off the card. I haven't got two. I've just got one. So yeah, I actually know I've got Gambit. I've got Gambit as well. So like the Jim Lee ones, then I've got two of as well. So Gambit would be the only, but and Beast I got two of. Okay, yeah. So yeah, the animated ones I've got two of, and the girls, that would be it.
Yeah, because as I said, those Jim Lee costumes are probably the most iconic for the X-Men. And it gives me a great opportunity to bring this back up, which we like to do occasionally. I think Jimmy Boy sent me this. So this is a chart that I throw up on the stream occasionally, just to reinforce the point with Hasbro and any lurkers that may be watching. The 8 X-Men characters that were on the intro, not including Professor X, of course, but the 8 members of the X-Men from that animated series intro in their Jimmy Lee uniforms are a lot of people's version of the X-Men. That is a lot of people's mind's eye of the X-Men. And we have yet to get them in Marvel Legends form within the same release format. Now, I'm hoping to break this curse this year, as I do think we're most likely to get them in the X-Men 97 card backs. But we haven't got them anywhere out so far. We were very close on the original sort of Build-A-Figure wave because we just needed Storm and Jean Grey, but it never happened. The others need a few more. Obviously, VHS are on ice, and they probably won't come back to the X-Men VHS, to be honest, especially with X-Men 97 doing so well. It'd be weird to have both VHS, X-Men, and X-Men 97 out at the same time. So I don't think we're going to see X-Men VHS again, to be honest. Maybe in the far future, but not while X-Men 97 is a thing.
You saying that as well, there's no chance of completing it on the original Black Bath either, because that's gone away. They've got the new look packaging now.
That's true. So... you can just put a big red X through that. That's done. So our best hope are the 2 card backs. It's either the orange card backs, which we know they are still doing because this is an example. They are still doing. These are releases yet to happen. Or X-Men 97. Now, we know we're getting a Wave 3. There is a leaked Wave 3 out there, but that leaked list for Wave 3 doesn't have both the characters we still need. So, at this moment in time, we still do not have a completed Jim Lee X-Men team in any format. What your money on the same as me, Rich? Is it with X-Men 97? Or is there still hope for some of those classic Jim Lee looks on the orange card?
I mean, I would think there's hope for them, but the fact that they haven't even done a Wolverine on that card is just bizarre to me. So yeah, I think 97's probably got the best chance of completing the animated team lineup. I think a lot of people in the chat are saying you keep saying gold and blue, and obviously in the gold and blue teams in the comic books, blue team had Psylocke on it, gold team had Colossus, Iceman, and Archangel. So again, if you want a full comic accurate, there is more characters to do. But I think for an animated show, doing these 8 characters is essential. And yeah, I'm guessing X-Men 97 will be the card back. We're going to get them on soon.
Yeah, I hope by the end of the year. I genuinely have hope. If the rumours are true...
I don't think we're going to finish by the end of the year.
Really? That would be this point. Every opportunity I get to talk to anybody of relevance, I am hammering this point home of completing teams in a quicker time period, and also the same format, and it's the same with upgrades and stuff like that. Now if we get Marvel Legends, we expect them to be pinless, great articulation, where these figures are now a bit outdated, to be honest. Now if you're just using them for display purposes and keeping them on card, that's not so much of a bugbear. But the reality is, the longer you wait in between releases, the vaster the gap there is within aesthetics and function of these figures. So it is definitely to our benefits as collectors to get things completed in a quicker time period. So again, just using these 8 X-Men as an example, like Rich said, there are more characters you need for a bigger X-Men team. But these were the ones that featured on the intro of the animated show, which is beloved, of course. So, yeah, just pointing that out every opportunity we get, because we have got other these characters on the retro card, as you can see, but we got the X-Factor Cyclops, and we got the Samurai Wolverine. So we've only ticked a few off in the classic Jim Lee looks. We've got Rogue and Gambit. We've got Storm in the white as well, so she counts. I guess Beast in the blue counts, but no Jubilee, no Jean Grey. We've got Phoenix, but no regular Jean. We've now obviously got Jean as well in her X-Factor look. But that X-Factor look doesn't match the X-Factor look, for the Cyclops, does it? Because by then he's got the different color, right?
No. No, yeah. You were right.
Yeah.
That blue Cyclops would go with red and yellow Jean. Yeah.
So it's like, so even the two X Factor Cyclops and Jean Greys we've got on the orange card ain't the colors that they were wearing at that together in the comics. They're both from different sections or different parts of that that X Factor run. So to be fair, I think they've used this as a release format just to, like, for no particular theme. It's just a bit here, there, and everywhere. Like, but I'm not mad at it. Like, again, it's still nostalgic, but I would like them to be a bit more cohesive with the teams and the costume designs they are releasing on this. So that's what we are going to discuss today. We're going to discuss the potential of what they could still do based off the past. That's what we're talking about, nostalgia. And you've seen me throw up some pictures already, but let's take it way back to 1991. Now, was there anybody in the chat? I'm just curious of our viewership here. Are there any Marvel Legend collectors in the chat that were born after 1991? I'm assuming so. I'm just curious. What's our age range of the chat? That's all. Jesus, I had that Magneto. Yep. I think I started. I didn't have any from this wave, so I must have had some from my later wave. But we'll go through. Cloud, 1982. I'm just exposing people's ages here. Jay, 1991. I think I was 4. Z-Man was born in the year 2000. Oh my God, Z-Man's too young. 1992 was Virtual Dave. Virtual Dave's young as well. Damien's 1980. Another 1980 with Rush. 85. Gary. Craig was born in 1991. I thought Craig was an 80s baby.
And now, if everyone puts the date, the month, and the day they were born as well, we can get into all your accounts as well. So
and just
put that in the chat. And your email, why not?
Next question: mother's maiden name. Yes. Z-Man's potentially the youngest in the chat so far, right? From what I can see, he was literally born this millennium. Everyone else was born last millennium.
Raj Sharma was 2002.
Okay, so we've got a few from this millennium. So Z-Man never actually seen last millennium. Crazy.
Remember Y2K and all the computers were gonna burn the world down.
There was posters up everywhere. The clocks didn't know how to go to zero or whatever it was. Crazy. I'm an old head. Apparently, 1984, great movie. Says Max Miller. He has got a lot of birthdays. That Craig. To be fair, yeah, Craig. Happy birthday to Craig, by the way. If everyone could give Craig a happy birthday, that'd be great. It is Craig's birthday every day, apparently, in our group. You're not in the Legends UK group anymore, are you? I think someone...
It just got too much. I told you it was like working in Frankie and Benny's. It was just too much for me, Dan.
Someone accidentally messaged Craig happy birthday, so everybody else just jumped on the bandwagon the whole day. Craig got back from work and realised he had like 20 messages all wishing him happy birthday. And it was like, it's not even my birthday. So then the next day, we just did it again anyway. so now randomly, we just wish Craig happy birthday. So yeah, if the chat could just wish Craig happy birthday, we appreciate that. But anyway, back to Wave 1 from 1991. Rich, did you have any of these? What is your story with these? Do you remember them fondly? What was your first one? Do you still have any to this day? What is your story to this retro card?
So I remember picking these up in I think it was Toys R Us in Cardiff first. I think that was the first place I saw them, and then afterwards in Woolworths. So I think in this wave I had Archangel, I had Apocalypse, I had the X Factor Cyclops, and I had that Magneto, because there's two versions of Magneto. There's that one where like the magnets stick to him, which I don't think was released in the UK. Okay. So the one we had over here, he like sparks on the back instead, because it's like a little thing that like glues on him. I think obviously they were scared like kids would swallow it and like it would be stuck to it.
Yeah.
So over here he had like
he
had like a spark on the back, and it like real sparks would come. I think that was a danger as well. I think that would pass quality control today. And you used to burn your finger if you like did it too many times. Your finger would be all like...
The Captain Planet toy did that as well. The guy that had the fire ring in Captain Planet, I can't remember his name. Wheeler, maybe.
Wheeler, yeah.
He had the same gimmick on the back of him.
Fire on the back, sparking. And that Banshee, I remember Banshee. He had like a whistle on the back you could annoy everyone with, and he had the same shitty plastic capes that Hasbro use today.
25 years later, they
everlasting
upgraded the technology of the capes. Yeah. So
Forge, I think, has got like a metallic leg, and Gambit has got like a crappy metal pack-a-mac, and he did a kick. So after a few years, like the mechanism would go. So he's in a permanent like kick position now all the time.
The spring probably broke. Yeah.
And I had Iceman you could put in the fridge, and if you put him in the fridge, he would like freeze all up. And I had Storm as well. Who was in her. She was still Storm. Is not in her animated look costume. She's in her Outback costume, which is a costume that Hasbro have never done either. So that's cool.
Well, as you go through the years, you see figures do get re-releases. Storm does have a few variants because in the animated show, it's obviously a white costume, but in the comics, because of the cel shading and stuff, people would always argue, is it silver? Is it chrome? Is it white? So I think Toy Biz just give you every variant so you can make your own ones. Yeah. As I skim through some of these, I never had full waves. I just had characters from here and there. Because obviously watching this show, I would have wanted characters from the show. But 1991, I can't believe I went all the way back then.
I definitely though remember like these card backs.
Yeah.
I remember these being everywhere. Like I said, they were like in Woolworth, in like Tesco's. They were everywhere in the UK. But it's like when we get to like the later series, I only remember them being in Forbidden Planet and comic book shops. I don't remember seeing like the Monster Mashers, the Missile Flyers, all those kinds of things. They were about. I think like X-Men was kind of over on the mainstream by then. I think. For the UK anyway.
I remember this vehicle really fondly. I had it as a kid. It made no sense to me even as a kid, but I had it. Wolverine's face is literally on the front of it. Right, and then it's got these two arms with claws on it, right? That you can articulate it around, and the figure sits on it. So you'll have Wolverine sitting on the bike, but then his face would be on the bike. It was really weird. Even as a kid, it would bug me. I was like, do they think he's a Transformer or something? Even though it didn't transform, it was just weird. And in X-Men '97, like the show that just was on Disney Plus last year, there's an Easter egg where the camera pans back in the X-Men garage. You actually see this bike from the Toy Biz days, which I thought was a cool Easter egg. So did anyone else catch that? I don't know which episode it was, but in one of the episodes they do a slow zoom out in the garage, and this bike, which was never in the show, it is basically just a toy with such a random design, was in the X-Men '97 rebooted show. Episode 9, there you go. RP seen it. So yeah, I've so many variants as well of Wolverine because Wolverine was the guy, and even characters that never even appeared on the show. Because again, these character designs were obviously influenced from the comics, but as the show got more popular, it sort of people just associated the toy line with the cartoon, of course. But there are characters in this line that never appeared in the cartoon at all.
But equally, just like Hasbro, like the main team are not all on this card. Like I think Jean and Jubilee never got figures on these cards. Yeah,
literally, you get Storm, but never Jean and Jubilee, who are like day one X-Men from the animated show, ain't they? So you'd think they were key people. I think Jubilee's one of the first characters you even see in the show. But yeah, we don't get her. You got a couple of re-releases of Wolverine. So I know now it literally say second edition or whatever on the cards. But yeah, all of them had their own little gimmick. There's the chrome version of Storm characters. You got a space version of Wolverine somewhere down the line. The massive bubble for Professor X and the Brood Queen as well. Like God knows if you can still find one of them mint on card now because it would be so heavy it would fall off.
I got that Professor X. So that didn't go everywhere in the UK, but that wave I think was in Forbidden Planet. And my father got me that when I'd asked him for Psylocke, and I was very disappointed with boring Charles Xavier when I wanted the Psylocke.
Oh, he comes with his chair and everything. That's pretty cool. Did they even do They didn't do Psylocke in this line.
They didn't know. He's got little like flip out laptop things, and he's got secret guns in the side of his laptops. That's what he's got.
So your dad was sent on a mission that was always going to fail because there is no Psylocke.
I know, and there was a Christmas as well where the X-Men UK comic book said there was a 10-inch Jean Grey out there, and I asked for that for Christmas, and I didn't get it. I got Sabretooth and Cyclops, and I told my parents they'd ruined Christmas for me that year. That was a good year.
Yeah, poor parents. These things weren't even accessible. There was no internet back then. If Woolworths didn't have it, you were buggered. Well, there's Beast from 1994. And as you can see, if you watch my Christmas video, Rich very kindly gifted me this, and I opened it for Christmas last year, and now it is in a protective case, and I honestly, I want to create a whole Beast cube.
Yeah.
Which
I made you Christmas, didn't I?
You did.
Kathy and Tommy, you couldn't do that, could you?
Rich is giving people the Christmases that he dreamt of having. And then on the back, you'll get... This is what I loved about toy lines back in the day, is the checklists. And I actually have one of them here on the screen, is the massive checklist. Like, there is absolutely loads of figures from all the different toy lines. So if you were collecting all the multiple lines of Marvel... All of these were in the same scale. So the X-Men were in scale with the Spider-Man line. Because I definitely would mix and match my X-Men with my Spider-Man. Because there were crossover episodes. So, like, I would definitely... like had my Spider-Man figures on the shelf with my X-Men figures because they were all in the same scale. And again, I told you, as a kid, that continuity and scale was such a big deal to me. Like, if my toys were out of scale with each other, they couldn't play in the same world. So, like, all my Kenner figures would be in the same world. I had Kenner Jurassic Park and Kenner Aliens. Like, they were allowed to interact. Look, I brought these recently, actually, and these are a prime example of that nostalgia. So, I've got Daniel here from
Stargate. The Stargate movie, that
yeah,
is
from
it?
Stargate movie, right? As a kid, I don't think I even seen the movie as a kid, but these turned up in like Poundland or somewhere really random. And because his name was Daniel, someone brought it for me because they were like, oh, Daniel, I got you an action figure. And because I wear hats all the time, he had a hat as well. So as a kid, I fucking loved this thing. I was like, it's me, Daniel, it's me, I've got a toy. But I didn't see Stargate until I was a full grown adult. But he, in my little toy universe, was best friends with Corporal Hicks from the Kenner universe. So, like, because they were in the same scale. So again, it's that, and both of these toy lines had checklists on the back, and I would keep the cards as a kid and with a pen, like, tick off which ones I had and try and get my parents to get the other ones. I don't know how much they cared or even attempted to, but yeah, so much nostalgia with these. So again, you see my Spider-Man retro wall. It fuels my current day collection, and the X-Men, Hasbro are doing a pretty good job with the X-Men one, but we think they can do a little bit better. So that's what we're going to discuss today. We're going to go through some characters that we would like to see on the orange card or the purple card for 2025, as they have told us more are coming. So let me just get my list up from Rich, and Rich can help me go through. So
just to preempt before anyone like says anything, fans of X-Force and the X-Force card, stay tuned because we've got a barren few months ahead. So look forward to an X-Force retro stream soon.
Yeah, so this is just X-Men today. So just orange cards and purple cards. So key X-Men and key villains. So you'll see as we go through here. So Rich can start us off. Who have we got here? Because it says, I told you earlier about the first edition, second edition. This says 5th edition Wolverine. But what Wolverine is it?
So this is the very special Team X Wolverine. And I think this is even the variant of that. This is like the Kmart exclusive version. But Team X was like the Black Ops team that Wolverine and Sabretooth, and I think it was Maverick, they were involved in like spin-off from like Weapon X, that type of thing. So it's when they were all working together doing these like spy missions. So they all had these like black and gold costumes. It's come back around again because there was recently a Predator Wolverine miniseries. No, yeah, Predator. It was Predator, Aliens, Predator. It was Predator versus Wolverine, and like this costume comes up in that. But again, it's been in the animated TV show. I think it was like X-Lies and Videotape, that episode.
Was it with him and Storm?
Back.
They go back in time and him and Storm are together, that one?
No. That's like the Age of Apocalypse one. So this is where it's Silver Fox, where they go like his girlfriend from the past is in there. Then they go on a submarine and Omega Red is there as well. They go into like a mission in Russia. And then it flashes back about him and Sabretooth and Maverick as well. But like, I think this is like all the Wolverine looks, especially last year in the year of Wolverine. I'm surprised we didn't get this look there. I think a lot of people thought this would be appearing in those two packs, even, not Chewbacca. That was a Star Wars character. But yeah, this is a great look for Wolverine. Again, you could do the whole lot. You could do Creed and you could do Maverick as well. But I think definitely Wolverine in this look would be a good character.
Yeah, so KB Toys. We never had KB Toys in the UK, by the way. So God knows where that would have been for us, even if it was available. But it says 5th edition Wolverine, as because they did obviously make a lot of Wolverines the same way Hasbro currently do today. But I do like how they numbered each release of Wolverine, because they didn't sort of change the name. It just would change the costume design but keep his name as just Wolverine, so it doesn't matter what costume you get, it just says 1st edition, 2nd edition, or etc. So very nice. So yeah, Team X Wolverine. So we're going to do the good guys first, right, Rich? We'll go through 5 good guys,
5 cards. Good guys,
okay,
and then 5 bad guys as well.
So next up, you've got Outback Storm. Now, after last week we were talking about the Maximum series, I think the general consensus with the community is Storm as a female character makes the most sense on the Maximum series. But would we like to see her on the orange card more for that nostalgia?
I would like to see her on the orange card, especially in this Outback look, because she was obviously the first female X-Men character ever produced in any action figure line, and obviously they went with this look. So this is like it's her Outback look minus the cape, but she's got that lightning logo and it it flashes on that one, and she's got her lightning bolt as well. So even in the Toy Biz days, she only wielded lightning. She'd have no other powers just as long as she wielded lightning. But I love this figure. I love the hair sculpt on this. It's very like Mark Silvestri, like late 80s, early 90s run. And I love this costume for Storm. You could do an alternate head with a like short hair look in between like this era and the blue and gold era. But yeah, and I think the Outback team, we only need 3 characters. We need Storm, we need Psylocke, and we need Colossus. And then that era will be completed. So I think to get Storm, especially on this card, I think that would be the best one. Well, I know we say about the Jim Lee versions on this card, but for me, that version of Storm is much more like nostalgic for me because it is the first female X-Men that I ever got. So I would love to get that on this card.
I just found this image real quick. Is that these the looks that you'd be thinking of for the Outback?
Yeah, so like with most of them, you can like complete like Dazzler, Havoc, Wolverine, and Rogue. You've got those looks, so it is just like Colossus, Psylocke, and Storm you need to like finish off that team.
Was Rogue that single packed release we got on the plastic free packaging when at the same time Blob came out, etc.?
That's it. So it was like the spring theme on it that year where we had the gold and blue 3 packs as well.
So that is one I do not have. We haven't got a topless version of Colossus either, but Colossus, I think the last time we got Colossus was in, they re-released it. Well, we got him in a 2-pack, didn't we, with Hulk? So I think Colossus is fair game for a release.
That Colossus as well would be easy to do because if you think about it, the Age of Apocalypse Build-A-Figure Colossus, if you take off the harness, he's topless anyway. Yeah. And then with Death's head, with the legs and Death's head, you've got those like pinless metallic legs
Luscious
ready
Left
to go
Foot
as well.
Donated $5.
Thank you.
I need that previous Wolverine in a 2-pack with Silver Fox.
That's a great idea. Luscious Left Foot, thank you very much for the super chat. I need that previous Wolverine in a 2-pack with Silver Fox. Let's go back to the Wolverine. 2 packs with Silver Box. Would people take it? Be a good shout. Good shout. But yeah, back to this. So let's just tick off who we've got, right? So we've got Dazzler in that look, right? We got her in the Mojo box set, correct?
Yeah, I think she hasn't got like
jacket. You can get your jacket off though.
Yeah, but the midriff cat, I don't think on that one. She's
You're right. So we have got a version of Dazzler with the jacket, but the one that came with Mojo doesn't have the jacket. But you're right, she doesn't have the midriff. Everything else is fine.
In this era, like Dazzler and Rogue especially, and even Storm, like with a kid, like the costumes kind of varied. Like there's a lot of different like looks that they've got over it. Like Rogue would have different like versions of the green leotard over a black bodysuit. It would like different bits would move about. So they kind of like you can use them. I don't think you need a new Dazzler with just a midriff, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. Out of all of these, as much as I would like the idea of getting a new Storm in this outfit, Betsy is the one I want. Like, surely she's got to come in that outfit. So yeah, Psylocke, please, in that look. Psylocke before she was Psylocke. So Yeah, what the hell happened? Go on.
With that little Lilandra from, I can't speak tonight, I'm only drinking water, that Lilandra from last year, like a lot of the tooling is there ready for this
she's got,
style.
like,
I think everyone thought it was
corset-y.
going to come out.
Yeah, Lalandra's got the metal-y corset with the big boots. So yeah, absolutely, they could retool Lalandra a tiny bit and repaint. Let's get Betsy in this armor, please. But I know that, like, again, we talk about Jim Lee as being a lot of people's X-Men. Again, I know other people, like Robo, for example, he talks about the Outback, that's his era of the X-Men. So getting closer to completing it, but not quite there yet in action figure form. So Storm on a retro card wouldn't be a bad shout. RP in the chat asked what the hell happened to Friday. We don't know. It was a surprise to even me when she first went off today. We don't know if she's been kidnapped, she's ill and got a bad throat. I have no idea. But yes, I agree. That is not the Friday that we know and love's voice. It's an imposter. Don't know what's going on. Okay, next up, Razor. Now, we can't talk about Razor without at least shouting Hepzibah! Because Razor is a great gateway drug just to talk about the Starjammers in general. Because we are missing two of them, Razor being one of them, Hepzibah being the other. And we already have Chode, who was the Build-A-Figure. Granted, not as accurate as he should have been, as he has the wrong fingers. They took away the paint that they originally showed us on the digital renders. But other than that, he still looks like Chode. Like, I know it's not 100% accurate, and it should have been, but on the display, like, he still clearly looks like Chode. So I'm not too mad at it, even though I do agree with everybody's faults. They are completely correct. And we've also got Corsair, the leader, of course, Cyclops' dad. And they also, like, team up really well with the Warlock Professor X that we got last year as well. So he wasn't officially a member, but there's definitely colourful comic panels of those teaming up in this sort of She-Ark sort of Empire run type vibe. But Razor was actually a figure on this orange card. So could this be a gateway for Hasbro to get one step closer to completing the Starjammers? Tell us a little bit about Razor. Did you have him? Would you like him? And I'm going to find a picture of this Starjammers team.
So it was Razor and Chode were both on the classic orange card back. And then I think Corsair came in the Dark Phoenix sub-series. So it was still on this card back.
There he
is.
But
it had a little Dark Phoenix in the corner for Corsair.
Yeah, there he is. Right, let me find Marvel Starjammers. I think it's the Uncanny, 275, where, like, literally one of the first pages is a big spread of Warlord Professor X with the Starjammers. Let me find a picture of the team. It's a small picture. I'll find a better one in a second. That come up? Yeah, it works, doesn't it?
There you go. Yeah. So, like, obviously the Starjammers originally showed up back in the original Phoenix saga. So when the X-Men, like, go into space, they're there, like, originally, like fight the X-Men and then team up with them against, like, the evil Tekken and everything that's going on with Jean and Phoenix. But yeah, so you've got Corsair, Chode, Hepzibah, and Razor. Again, the other characters you can put in with them, like the binary version of Carol Danvers joins the team, and then we've already a figure of that. And then later on, like Havoc and Polaris all join it. Rachel Summers as well, who you can't put in there. They all, like, end up joining in the Starjammers as well. But I think, yeah, that's a great shot. That would be someone said about Hepzibah, she's got so many versions, and it would be that, like, the long head, like, skunk with a boob, with a cleavage showing Hepzibah. That would be what I want, rather than that more classic look where she looks like Pepe Le Pew's girlfriend, I think.
Pepe Le Pew's girlfriend. Yeah, this is my sort of where my mind goes for the Starjammers. And again, that's the version of Charles that we actually got in figure form, not the version from the front cover, as we know. So yeah, like, we've got Corsair, we've got Chode, we need Hepzibah, and we need Razor, who was originally on the Toy Biz card back. So could that be an opportunity for Hasbro to get a little bit closer? I would hope so. Starjammers are definitely up there with one of those teams that I just want to get completed now. Like, Chode and Corsair are on the shelf. They're with, like, I have them just above the sort of Shia. I still think we need characters like Deathbird, which I hope we maybe get this year as well. Maybe some more of the Imperial Guard. So they would definitely pose with them, I think. Well, at least on my display they would. So yeah, I would very much like to see him in the 6-inch Marvel Legends line. Orange card would be great, but I honestly would be happier in a 2-pack with Hepzibah and just tick that box. Like, just get it done. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially with fan channels now. Like, I understand at retail they've got to keep these you got to keep pumping out Wolverines. I get it. I understand, but put something in a place where us collectors know where to find it that we want for our collections as well. And I think a Razor and Hepzibah 2-pack would be a great welcomed set for us for sure. Sorry, did I say Warpath? I meant Warlord. You know what I meant. You knew what I meant, all right? It's Warlord Professor X, all right? All right, I'm live on YouTube, all right? Forgive me. I can't edit out my mistakes. All right, let's keep going. Next up. So, Rich may have got on Photoshop for this one, because this never happened, did it, Rich? It is, of course, quite possibly the most wanted. I think it is, according to our community, the most wanted Marvel Legends of 2025 is Rachel Summers.
So yeah, I think Rachel Summers in this look, a Hound look from Excalibur, is probably the one I think everyone... I think Ferrell's probably up there as well, but to round out your 90s team, I think they are the two missing pieces, Rachel and Ferrell. And technically with Rachel, we have had a Rachel before. We've had the Marvel Girl in like the dark... is it the early days of Hasbro? I think it was. We had it.
Which
or was
one?
it the end? The Marvel Girl version of Rachel.
Yeah, we got her in one of those Target exclusive waves with the early crappy Builder figures. What Builder figure wave was she in? She might have been in like the Brood Queen. No. Not what am I talking about? Annihilus, something like that, maybe.
Annihilus.
Someone in the chat can correct me. Someone will know better than me. We didn't have those waves. Are hard to get in the UK, if at all. So my memory's a bit blurry. Anything pre the return of Marvel Legends in 2012, my mind is a little bit blurry. But you are correct. We did get a version of Marvel Girl Rachel Summers, and in Marvel Select as well, as we know, as you mentioned.
And she's a really simple character design in this look as well. It's just a red bodysuit with spikes, and we know they can do the spikes now because they did them on Titania. So that's going to be an easy layup. But she needs an alternate head. She needs a normal head with a little rat tail ponytail, and she needs her hound face as well with all the markings and everything like that as well. It would be a great thing. I'll give her some flame effect. I chuck the Phoenix base in. I don't think she's going to come with the Phoenix base in. It'll probably just be some little fire effects. But I'd love Rachel on this, and she would finish up Excalibur as well. So
of course she would. A bit of UK repping Excalibur. Now, just think, I revealed that Captain Britain from that 3-pack in 2021, I believe. And it came, of course, unfortunately, with Kitty and with the green outfit version of Megan. But to complete the cover, we'd need a different version of Megan. Now, granted, Megan probably not high on my list of characters that need a redo straight away, especially compared to characters like Psylocke, who we desperately need. But I would buy another Megan in the orange to replicate this front cover. Technically, the Captain Britain we have as well is inaccurate to this front cover. So again, another 2-pack idea would be Megan in the orange, a new Captain Britain in this costume, and then give us Rachel. I would very much.
You could do another 3-pack, couldn't you? A redo of the 3-pack, get rid of Kitty Pryde and do
an even better 3-pack. Upgrade.
Even better, yeah. Megan with a turtleneck orange jumpsuit, what? Captain Britain in that suit, and Rachel as well. That would be great to get the 3 of them all at once.
Yeah, got money in the bank. Luscious Left Foot with a super chat. Thank you very much. Let Friday read
Luscious Left Foot donated $5. We need more Excalibur team members in general. Cerise, Pete Wisdom, 90s Douglock would be a good start.
There you go. He's just given us another 3-pack. Cerise, Pete Wisdom, and 90s Dudlock would be a good start.
I mean, if you're going to go beyond, though, you need to start with the best Excalibur member, Amanda Sefton, Day Tripper. That's who you need, first of all. But I will take all of them. But I think even Amanda Sefton, Cerise, Pete Wisdom, Douglock, to do them before Rachel is no. Rachel needs to be, just put Rachel out there. Give the people what they want.
Oh, absolutely. This cover here is Excalibur #1, and Rachel is front and center. Make it happen, Hasbro. That there's a gap. Again, that original Excalibur box set came out 4 years ago now. Like, she is a gap that has been waiting to be filled. Has to be 2025. Honestly, has to be. But again, I would take her as a deluxe format, but I would also happily take her on the orange card as well, because again, a bit of nostalgia with it. And again, making right those wrongs. But like Rich said, I'd like the two heads. Let's give us the unmasked Rachel, because then you have that interchangeable head. You could put on like the House of X Jean Grey body and have a Marvel, like have an updated version of Rachel Summers Marvel Girl. That would work, right? Because it's the same bloody outfit, isn't it? So
yeah, but don't reuse that House of X.
No, I know.
She's got terrible figure.
Yeah,
terrible.
She's got like the pencil skirt that makes her really awkward to stand and stuff. I get it. But yes, Rachel Summers, absolutely a character we need this year. Has to happen. She is probably number one of most wanted Marvel Legends for 2025. Rachel Summers in this Excalibur look. Cowhound, please. Two heads, much appreciated. Next up. Now, take it away, Rich. You're gonna.
You're not even trying to pronounce that. No. It's Cecilia Reyes. Cecilia Reyes. So again, Cecilia comes from like late 90s run of X-Men. So it's like Operation Zero Tolerance with like Maro and Maga and Cecilia are like the new X-Men. Like, welcome to the X-Men, these strange new heroes. So obviously, Maro is coming out this year. 2 years ago, we got Maga. So Cecilia competes that like trio. So Cecilia's like an interesting character because she didn't want to be an X-Men. She wanted to be a doctor. She wasn't like interested in it. That's why she hasn't got a code name. She is just Cecilia Reyes. But she gets dragged in because of Operation Zero Tolerance, where like Bastion is tagged in all the mutants. She ends up like teaming up with like Iceman, then she's with Beast for a bit as well, and then she ends up joining the main X-Men team reluctantly. But she's a doctor by trade, so then when like House of X comes around, like and the mutants all move to an island, she's there as their like resident healer, and she has technically been on screen as well because she is in that terrible New Mutants movie that Fox put out before like they went away. She is like, yeah, she is like in that as like the doctor in that.
I don't know, I can't remember that.
In the comics, she hasn't got any ties to the New Mutants, but yeah, she shows up in that movie just because they needed a doctor. And I think they went with, all right, Cecilia Reyes, we'll put her in. But Cecilia's cool as well because she's obviously in that gold and blue uniform, which obviously we know they've got tooled ready. She's just got like, so in the picture on the side is more the traditional look. And then on the right is where she's got those like long, like thigh-high boots rather than the leg ankle boots that the other characters have got. Yeah, and then she's got like a sleeveless top as well. So I would love a Cecilia Reyes. I'd give her shields as well. It would be great.
Yeah, I forget. Maggot was actually a really good figure as well that came out.
Yeah,
and you're right.
And that Maro looks really good as well.
Exactly. So like, Maro and Maggot are the characters as well. Where when I add them to my shelf, they do look a little bit. Well, Maggot, for example, he's just I never know where to put him. He's like on the outskirts of the main team type thing. But when you start rounding out the ranks of these characters that join later on, it definitely fills up the display a little bit. Z-Man says, I know we are talking retro, but I think it's time for the original team to be redone. Also for the retro card, Iceman, please. Yeah, again, the original X-Men team would be great in their original costumes. Similar to Cecilia's blue and gold there as well. The original X-Men team. We had a box set, didn't we? I think it was the Bobby Valor box set, to be fair, from a good few years ago. I think it's fair to say that
all new X-Men they did, didn't they? A 5-pack.
I think it's fair to say that all those figures need an upgrade now with what we can currently do. And yeah, Iceman is a character that we have already had on the Hasbro retro card. Of course, we had him multiple times on the Toy Biz as well. But none of them are perfect. We absolutely need an updated Iceman. And maybe the teasers that Dan, Ryan and Dwight were talking about is referring to Iceman, as he was a member of X Factor. And they did say that maybe more characters would team up with Jean Grey later this year. So maybe they are referring to Iceman, because Iceman, Beast and Angel were all in X Factor while Jean was in this look. So
my guess is, though, if they did an Iceman on this card, it would be like a nice X Factor Bobby in his like light blue and white uniform. I don't think they do like another ice look. They've already done that once, haven't they? So
yeah, we've got the Iceman. We've got Iceman on a retro card. Then we've got the AOA of Iceman, who's a little bit different. We've got the Amazing Spider-Man and Friends Iceman as well, who's like Iceman with cell shading. I don't.
They did a more modern day, didn't they?
Yes.
Juggernaut Wave
Yes.
is like more modern looking one.
So like when it comes to a classic Iceman that hasn't got a big seam of plastic running down his face, yes, we absolutely need an updated Iceman. And for X Factor, you're doing with his powered bout as well, or his big square bout. So yeah, Iceman's a good shout for the retro card, absolutely. But I also like adding new characters to the display. So Gary was like, I don't know who Celia is, but that's fine. You don't have to know who these characters are. Learn via the medium of action figures. Let these inspire you to go back and do some reading. Again, it's part of the hobby. It's always fun. Let's get into the villains then. And this one we talked about quite a bit recently because of that damn yellow whip that turned out to be that we were completely wrong. Like usual, we have fun by going down these rabbit holes and digging a little bit too deep sometimes when the clues are in front of us. But this is Acolytes, and you're gonna have to say the name for me, Rich. It's Senyaka, yeah.
So this is Senyaka from the Acolyte, which the weirdest thing of all is, I would say, in the 90s, the Acolytes were the big bad team for the X-Men. Yeah, in the Toy Biz figures, apart from Magneto, the only Acolyte to get made was Senyaka, and I think Senyaka didn't really do that much. I think he dies in the original. I think, like, in Fatal Attractions, like, Magneto or Exodus uses his whips because he's done something wrong and, like, kills him, like, wraps his whips around him. But Senyaka was the figure that got released by Toy Biz. So he comes with those the whips, which is why we thought, like, that Holocaust figure, the Builder figure, when that little preview with the little hook, it looked like a little hook in there. We thought it was a whip, so we thought, Senyaka, he comes with a hip, and it fitted with, like, the Fabian Cortez being, like, leaked as well. And with Fabian out there, I think you need to build out the Acolytes now, and as the only one on the Toy Biz card, check Senyaka on it.
Yeah, we don't get that many purple cards, sorry. So, like, characters, again, start completing teams in a quicker succession. They've just put out Fabian Cortez. There's plenty of characters in the Acolytes that people want. This is a character we've already had, so it would make sense for you to do a tribute to on the orange card. So yeah, go for it. Was he a part of the team that died when Asteroid M crashed? Because there was
no, he died before that. I think it was in Fatal Attraction. Or Craig says it was Magneto killed him, so it's in Fatal Attractions before. I think he takes the metal out of Wolverine. Like, Senyaka is, I think, killed, I think, mutants, and I think Magneto is, like, annoyed with him for doing that. So he kills him in front of everyone to show an example and to show the other Acolytes so they need to, like, listen to him, type of thing.
Maybe they chose him because there was a bit of reuse potential, or maybe they just thought he was a bit more play factor because he had the whip. Maybe again, back in the Toy Biz days, you don't know if there was an actual Marvel fan in the room that was just pushing their favourite characters, or if it was all just based on playability with the toys. But he has a whip, and he cracks his whip, the toy as well, so it makes sense. A character with a team that's in a particular uniform. So another character, we've been talking about 2-packs and 3-packs. The Acolytes are another team that could absolutely have a 2-pack, a 3-pack, a 4-pack, a 5-pack, just to start filling out these members. But yes, and the Aka has actually already been on the retro card back in the day, or the original Toy Biz card. So again, fair game for a tribute now in the Marvel Legends line. And Ginger Vitus, Eric the Red, Gideon, Zenyaka, Frenzy, Cruel, Kane, Grizzly, GW Bridge from the 6-pack, Romulus, Exodus, obviously. So there you go. There's a whole crew of Acolytes there you could pick from. Some of them we got on the retro. Yeah, he's listing off the ones we did get on the X-Force card, right?
I think he's just listing characters. Not all of them are Acolytes, but like Senyaka and Frenzy would be Acolytes.
Yeah, we did get some of them on the X-Force card though, right? Didn't we? Yeah, that's where my mind's going for them with them.
The Kane and Gideon and stuff are all on the X-Force card.
Yeah, all good. All right, let's keep going. Next up, orange card, but he could potentially.
He should, Dan. Yeah. Should be on the purple card.
I think, again, because it's a Wolverine variant, they probably just whacked him on the orange because they just assumed Wolverine good guy.
Well, They did. If you look at it, they've even put like Robot Wolverine in brackets, Albert. They just like, oh, it's
You can't
Robot
even
Wolverine.
see Albert back there, can you?
Sixth edition, look, the sixth Wolverine release for Toy Biz.
This is a fair game re-release though, because like you said, it's a different character. It's genuinely a like those other Wolverines. You can't have them all lined up on the... Well, you could have them lined up on the display together, but technically it's the same character multiple times. This is a different character. This could be fighting Wolverine, pose with your Wolverine. So, yeah, I like Albert and LCD are characters that I really want. There's a video on my channel where I review the Iron Studios Albert and LCD statue, and the LCD in that statue is scale... Like can scale with Legends, but again, it doesn't quite fit aesthetically on the display. So I'd love Marvel Legends to do another 2-pack idea, Albert and LCD. Do you reckon LCD is small enough to do as a packing accessory that doesn't have much articulation, who have we got? I'm trying to think of characters like Spider-Ham. That do you know, like it's just a character that's packed in, or would we require her to have more articulation? I'd want her with articulation, don't get me wrong, but
I mean, you could do it as a packing, but nowadays, I mean, like look at Howard the Duck. LCD would be her own figure, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
You'd come with like a giant Build-A-Figure piece instead. It'd be like LCD with 5 points of articulation.
Yeah. Well, Albert's another great choice as well. I'm assuming if he's on your list, Rich, that it's a character you'd want to pick up for the collection.
Yeah, I love Albert because like he's like the bizarre version of Wolverine. He's got like cybernetics and he fits in with the Reavers a bit as well. And I love that this like Toy Biz figure in an age where like accessories are being cut, he comes with 2 complete separate arms. I mean, like when was the last time Hasbro? I think Nico Manaru came with 1 arm. She didn't get 2.
It wasn't even
like,
a full arm.
It
was just a forearm, I think. Maybe.
No, it was the full glowing arm. Nico did, yeah. It came with like where they like chopped it off.
Well, Reed
in
Richards has come with
Arena.
some arms, I think. Reed is, but not the arms we want. But yeah,
stretchy ones, yeah. But no, he did on the Fantastic Four card, didn't he? To swap him.
But still, they're just repaints of the same arm. We didn't get retooled, completely different mechanical arms. So no, I'm with you. Like, yeah, this is one of those figures that's more fun than first glance, like because it's not just a variant of Wolverine. It's a whole new character. Swap out his arms, have those robot arms, and yeah, a great villain for the shelf. But again, he does get reprogrammed eventually in the comics, so I guess he could have been a good guy at some point. But yeah, Albert and LCD, 2 characters I want. And again, fair game for the orange card or purple card. But
I think purple. He's got to be a villain. He needs to be a villain.
Yeah, but if we got Albert and not LCD, I'd always feel like we were missing LCD. So I feel like it would just make me feel better if we got them both at the same time because they're sort of together, ain't they? So yeah, both crazy little robots from the Marvel world. Licious Left Foot said LCD and the Brainchild would be perfect for a Tiny Packins. Leech as well.
Leech would be good for a little figure.
Yeah,
like extra figures for everyone. Maybe that's what they could do next.
Well, I still think it's a missed opportunity. We haven't got the Marvel like the X-Men babies from Mojoverse or Mojo World at some point. You know, like no one wanted that Wolverine that came with the Mojo World box set. Like it looks like a tiny little Funko or something. Like, and only weirdos collect Funkos.
It's the wrong X. It's the Scott Young X babies, not the the cutesy little chibi versions that I think everyone wanted.
I see the Toy Biz teased it, and there's prototypes shown at a toy fair, and it's like I would love them. They look good, like aesthetically now. But anyway, we missed out. But yeah, Albert on the orange card be a great shout, or purple card, but LCD would definitely need to accompany him to some regard. Next up, we have Ahab, right?
Yeah, this is Ahab. So I think if you're going to get Rachel Summers on it, you need her greatest adversary. So this is Ahab, who is like the leader of the Hound. So when Rachel becomes a Hound and hunts mutants, it's Ahab who like controls her. So he travels back from the future into the past and then like uses mutants to like hunt other mutants. He's got these like harpoons that he can like throw at people. And then it turns out as well, saying about Excalibur members earlier, that he's actually like a future version of Rory, the Doctor, the assistant in Excalibur. He like becomes like corrupted and turns into Ahab. So he's like the future version of Rory. And Rory does some stuff to try and stop himself becoming Ahab. And eventually ends up becoming like Famine, one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. But yeah, this is a great character. he's like a villainous, like, bastard. I don't think he was ever in the animated TV show, but he did get an action figure, and he was involved in like I remember it was like one of the first big crossovers like that I read that like went outside just the X-Men. Just like the X-Men and Fantastic Four annuals, like did like Days of Future Present. There was like a sequel to Days of Future Past. But I read Days of Future Present before I'd even knew Days of Future Past was a thing. And that was where I first saw like Rachel Summers and Franklin Richards. And I think it was even maybe the first Fantastic Four comic book I read, and he makes a Cyclops and Invisible Woman is hounds in like the crossover. It's a good comic book. I would recommend it, but I would love an Ahab.
Days of Future Present is the net.
Days of Future Present, yeah.
Very nice. I like how he's got his little pirate leg. Definitely wasn't in the animated show because we'd remember that weird space pirate from the future. But here's an example of what I was talking about earlier, where characters in this line were never in the animated show because again, these figures were never. These figures were made before, well, the majority of these were made before the animated show even hit TV. So the designs and stuff weren't taken directly from the show. They were taken from the comics. And then eventually they sort of got in line with each other. But yeah, Ahab's a character that was never in the animated show. Another new X-Men villain to add to the shelf. And like you said, if we get Rachel in a Hellhound look, then again, that's going to lead us to wanting more of the Hallions in that costume. And getting a big bad for her would be great as well. Purple card. Another purple card as well. I just think we ain't got a lot of purple cards. So let's add some new characters to the shelf and use the purple cards as an excuse. Damien agrees with your pick. He's giving you a hit, Rich. Giving you a hit. Next up. Exodus. Now, we've moved away from the original orange and purple cards a little bit further down the line in the Toy Biz days to grab a character that Hasbro should take back and put on the purple card. This is an adversary to Magneto, to a leader of his own faction of the Acolytes, and a big gap in our current Marvel collection. Arguably one of the big X-Men villains we have never got as a Marvel legend ever, right? I've got him in the Toy Biz days, as you can see, but never as a Marvel legend. And again, we're approaching like 25 years of Marvel Legends as well, or getting to it. And we have never had Exodus. Rich, why do we need Exodus?
So, like, speaking of Fatal Attractions, the Senyaka crossover, that's where Exodus debuts. And that's obviously where Professor Xavier mind wipes Magneto and leaves him, like, in a comatose.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, have I jumped?
No, it's me. It's not you.
There you go. So it's like, so he's like comatose for a bit, and then Exodus takes control of the Acolytes, and like while Magneto, he says he's having like conversations with Magneto, but he's not. He's doing like his own little agendas, and then it turns out that he's like one of the oldest mutants of like all time. Like Exodus has been around for like years and years, even like to the age of Apocalypse or whatever. But he's a great character. I don't know why he was on the X-Force that power back. He should have been on the Uncanny X-Men one, and he should be in that purple card. I think would be great. He's been like around in current days as well, like in House of X. He's got a massive role. He's on like the Quiet Council. He's even been in X-Men 97, dancing of all things. When they all come to Genosha. So yeah, I would love Exodus. I think he's a big key part missing. I think with Fabian Cortez now out there, they need to get to Exodus.
Well, I always think when certain characters are made in Marvel Legends form, how they get there before they get, without going past these characters. Like, so how do you get to Fabian Cortez without discussing Exodus and the Acolytes?
Does Jesse Falcon like me? Oh no, he doesn't. There you go. You don't get me.
Well, this is the thing. So like, these characters have to be like a part of a conversation. Maybe they get to Fabian Cortez first because there's more opportunity for reuse or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you don't have a conversation without talking about characters like Exodus. So, like, he comes with the two back pieces that you have to attach separately, but this is his more comic look for those curious. He was in the X-Men 97 show in this exact look as well. So, yeah, again, a character we need for the Marvel Legends line. Could and should 2025 be that time we get Exodus? I think so. And yeah, I think maybe Fabian Cortez is a little clue that they may be heading in that direction. And yeah, put it on the orange retro card. Again, we've got two purple retro cards, sorry. We've got 2 orange cards so far. We know we're getting more X-Men retros. So we know there's going to have to be a couple of purples, potentially, this year. So why not Exodus?
So my only thing now, right, is with this is like, so this list is what we want, right?
Yeah.
If we go with what I think is going to happen, it would be a completely different list.
Yeah.
But looking at what we've had so far with another version of Professor X in a different suit, another version of Jean in a different suit, if my money was going to be on an Acolyte on this card, my money would probably be on Colossus in his Acolyte uniform, because it's another X-Men in a different uniform.
Yeah.
Because so far they haven't done any like original characters type of thing. It seems to be like different looks.
Well, if we go, there's I reckon a few. We got Silver Samurai was the original character on this card.
In the line overall, but I mean from the exclusive they're doing, because they've said that the X-Men retros this year are going to be store exclusives to Target, I think. So that's what I'm saying is, like, so far it's all been alternate versions of characters we've already got.
Yes. But just to back up your point, the majority of releases that we have got on the retro card have just been variant costumes for other characters, and there's only been maybe 3 unique characters there. And I'm thinking Silver Samurai, Spiral, and other than that, everyone else was released. Well, yeah, everyone else was released somewhere else.
They were, those 2 were both part of like waves, like that had like wider releases.
Yeah. Okay,
like if you look at like the store exclusives, they were all like, apart from I suppose Gambit and Rogue, all the rest of them were like alternate looks for characters.
But they're just repaints of bodies they've got anyway. So I'm still within the same point you made. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Like, yeah, it is probably going to be variant versions of characters and etc. But Exodus, I think, is wanted. Definitely wanted for sure.
Who says he doesn't like the Acolytes because of Star Wars, which took me a minute to was like, what? And then I worked out what he meant. So
who said that? Home Dude.
Yeah.
Shout out Home Dude in the chat. All good. Right, next up, and we may have saved the most spoilerish one for last, because if we were going to place any bets based on the predictions that are, or the leaks that are out there, and again, we always use like those leaks so far that are out there in the universe have so far been pretty bang on. Let's be honest, like what has been leaked has basically came true. So there are leaks out there that we are going to get, and I quote, a retro carded Mystique. So the only retro carded Mystique from the Toy Biz days is what Rich has put on screen, the Monster Armor Mystique. Now, that was just a gimmick. She never wore some weird monster armor in the comics. It was just a toy gimmick from the 90s. But why not put her on the orange card? So I reckon an updated, because we've never got a Mystique with the double jointed technology or the pinless tech. The last Mystique we got was the Walgreens exclusive. She came with the Lalandra head. I'm mistaken. The last one we got was the VHS with the cell shading, which was just a re-release of the Walgreens one that came with the Rogue and Lalandra head. But both of them were the gummy legs, single jointed pin joints, etc. The female elbows never had pins, but they had the single joint. So we need a double jointed, pinless Mystique. We thought we were going to get her last year, Rich, packed in with her lover, Destiny, but it turns out we were all wrong. And that's an occasion where those leak lists can be a little bit wrong, because that leak list did say originally Mystique and Destiny, and it turned out to be Rogue, Secret Wars Rogue and Destiny. So maybe they held off and put Mystique in the retro line instead, as they know she's probably going to be an easy character to sell on the shelf, as she's always quite elusive on the aftermarket, to be fair. So would you agree, Rich, it is most likely, out of everyone we've seen on this list so far, based off the information that's out there, we're going to get an orange, a purple carded, updated Mystique?
I mean, she would fit in. So with this remit of like going with Marvel Girl and Savage Land Professor X, a new version of Mystique would fit that theme as a character we've already had. And to the, like, probably the bane of America, of everyone in America, Mystique has always been an exclusive as well. Like, the last version was it a Walmart exclusive?
Oh, the VHSs. Yeah, they were exclusive somewhere. And
the
then
VHS were Pulse, wasn't it? The Pulse, Walgreens, sorry.
And then it was Walgreens, yeah.
So, like, they've been exclusives. I think, though, everyone would want, like, classic Mystique with, like, an updated pinless body. But then if they follow in this theme, what if they go with X Factor Mystique in her, like...
There you go, full screen.
So you've got, like, her jacket, her white jacket, her thigh-high boots. Essentially, you could just repaint a Rogue figure and get this look, put a new head on it, give her a massive gun, and she could be, like, X Factor Mystique instead. So you could do that, I suppose, rather than your classic look.
Interesting. And they are talking about doing more X Factor characters on the retro card as well. So we're thinking, it could be...
Bring on the X Factor. Come on, Dan.
Yeah, well, we're thinking that what Hasbro are referring to are Angel and Beast, but maybe you're right. Maybe it is other characters in that line, especially if they love a easy repaint as well. So if you're saying it's just repaint a Rogue blue, then yeah, potentially. Let me get.
I think there's other X Factor, like more modern, not modern, but past the original team. Like I think Polaris, Havoc, and Strong Guy have been on leaked lists as well. So if you're going to go into that era, Mystique is the one just past that. So.
Yeah, this is the mind's eye of Mystique that I'd like an update for. Double jointed, pinless elbows, please. And don't give her heels. She doesn't need them unless you're going to make her be able to stand. Yeah, that's the Mystique I want. But yeah, we never got her on the purple or orange card back in the day. We only got the monster armor version of Mystique. But again, if you don't put a monster armor on, she will fit into a nice display with your Toy Biz X-Men figures, of course.
Stryden says in the chat, Mystique for maximum. There we go. You could check her in with a bunch of alternate heads, guns, everything.
She is genuinely a great pick for the maximum line. Even though, like, I don't think they're going to go with many females in that line. I do think she's a great pick because, yeah, she can just... It's like this. She's like Morph. You could put Morph in the maximum line and just give them loads of fucking heads. But Mystique, yeah, would be a great shout. Viper variant Mystique. Yeah, I remember that. I remember we got Viper. I actually had that. It was like a Mystique in the black leather sort of gear, isn't it? She got the black trousers, little black jacket from the Return of Marvel Legends days. Let me get that picture up, actually, so people know what I'm talking about. That was 2012, I think. Marvel Legends Mystique.
Epic Heroes,
yeah,
is it?
Epic Heroes. And yeah, she was a variant to Viper. I remember buying this in the Entertainer in the Bull Ring. Like, on the bottom shelf, super dusty in like 2015. Like, I remember finding her and Viper years after release. Just clearly no one else had brought them. Bottom shelf, Bull Ring Entertainer. I got her and Viper for like 12 quid each. And it was like they wouldn't even scan on the register when I took them to the checkout. And I was like, oh, they were £12. I should have said, oh, they were a fiver, but I missed I was too honest for my own good. Remember when we got those weird bases instead of the Build-A-Figure? Imagine the community would go mad now. This is what we used to have to deal with people. People bitch and moan now about the small Build-A-Figures or not getting a Build-A-Figure. Back in the day, they just give us a fucking stand. We didn't even get a Build-A-Figure piece. So, yeah. And she got the same massive guns.
She got five guns, though. Hasbro could never do that these days. Five guns.
She just got the repack guns from the Punisher, so they were too big for her. She had single-jointed elbows, and they wouldn't fit in her hand. It was so awkward to get her to pose. I ended up selling this a long time ago. But for a while, that was the only Marvel Legend Mystique, so... But yeah, that was she was meant to be a variant of Danny Moonstar, sorry. But that never actually happened on the Epic Heroes. Instead, it was Viper from basically Madam Hydra, but Viper. But yeah, so yeah, Mystique, one you'd want, Rich.
100%. I would love Mystique. I think, and it's weird she's always exclusive because I'd say of all the X-Men villainesses, Mystique's probably from the animated TV shows and from the movies.
Got the money in the bank.
Yeah, in pop culture for sure. Yeah.
Professor Soundwaves donated $6 Canadian and 99 cents. Teams I want: Nasty Boys, Imperial Guard, Acolytes, Marauders, Morlocks, Savage Land Mutants, Apocalypse Horsemen, Genocide Horsemen.
There you go. This Imposter Friday read them out for you. Thank you very much, Professor Soundwaves, for the super chat. Always appreciated. Thank you so much. He says, teams I want: Nasty Boys, Imperial Guard, Acolytes, Marauders, Morlocks, Savage Land, Mutants, Apocalypse Horsemen, Genocide Horsemen. Yeah, again, so many teams we need to complete in the Marvel Legends line. Me and Rich will probably do a stream at some point where we go through all these characters we need for particular teams and stuff. We did a stream not long ago where we literally talks about teams that only need one more Marvel Legend to complete. So like, I sort of want them to complete them before we start going down bigger rabbit holes. Like characters like Feral to complete X-Force would be a great shout. Then there's other teams that only need a couple more characters, like we talked about earlier with Starjammers. But yeah, now we can go deeper on new teams. Like again, they've started Acolytes with Fabian Cortez just this year. So yeah. The stands were from the Hero Quest game. Oh, okay, that was interesting. We didn't know that. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, no.
These stands were... So these were just like molds that Hasbro already had and just thought, shove them in. I've literally had a tower of these back in the day. I did use them on my display for a while, to be fair.
They took up too much space, though, didn't they?
Yeah, like... for sure. Yeah. I did like the concept that you could layer them and stuff, but I'd prefer a Build-A-Figure piece to reward me for my Marvel Legend purchases. But thank you very much, Professor Soundwaves. There's some great selections there. So, Rich, out of today's picks, we've got 10 figures. Let's just recap for the people. We've got Mystique, Exodus, Ahab, Albert, Sanyaka. You'll have to say her name.
Cecilia Reyes. Cecilia, my brain, you're breaking my heart. My
brain's not gonna looking at that word, my brain won't put it together for me. Rachel Summers, Razor, Outback version of Storm, and then the Teen X-Men Wolverine. So if you've got to give us your top 3, who is on your podium that you would like to see out of our list today from third to first?
So for me, like third for me would probably be Exodus, because I just think of all of them on the list, villains wise, not including the X-Men, so villain wise, I think he's the most like overlooked. Like Ahab and Albert are more like obscure villains, I'd say, and you can't have Senyaka before Exodus, so I would go with Exodus.
Okay, third choice. Who's your runner-up?
So my second choice would of course be the channel's favorite, Rachel Summers, because she is like overdue, but again, we have had a figure of her technically. So technically we've had some kind of Rachel Summers representation, but I still want a Rachel.
Yeah, and your most wanted from today's list.
So for nostalgic reasons only is Storm. Outback Storm is the one I want, because she was like the female character who started like my female character collection. It was all down to Aurora Monroe in this look. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today, Dan. I'd be out socializing with people.
There'd be no articulated heroines without...
There would have been nothing. No YouTube, no on forums, no on news groups back in the day looking for figures, sending my parents on like weird ghost hunts for figures that didn't exist, like Psylocke.
Yeah. Poor dad. Yeah. Your poor dad's like asking employees and they're just shaking their head at him and going, no, you're crazy.
They couldn't find Phoenix anyway, damn. Well, that didn't satisfy me. They should have bloody made it, shouldn't they? But yeah, this Storm is great, and I would love it on this card back. I know, like, for a lot of people, like you said, Psylocke and Colossus and needed more, but for me, this would be the one that I would love.
Of course, and that's what I love these conversations, because everybody has their own niches and favourites, and it's great. And again, like we were talking about, this card is about nostalgia. It is a tribute to those original Toy Biz cards from back in the day. So again, nostalgia wins. It just proves our point from the beginning of the stream. Like, we can't help but be attached to the things that hooked us from the beginning, because if it weren't for our love for if these things didn't exist, who knows if we would have continued on this path. So yeah, let me know your top 3 from today's list in the chat. Please try and keep it to today's list, because otherwise the world of Marvel can be a bit massive. So out of today's list, who would you have put in your top 3? And I'll read a couple out. I'll give you mine. So just talking selfishly for my collection, in third place I will go with Mystique, as she is one of my favourite female X-Men characters, not just villains. I really like Mystique, and we need an upgrade. We need a better representation to what we currently have. So I will take the upgrade of Mystique in third place. But then, as I said, always I like adding brand new characters to the collection. So let's put Exodus in second place, because like Rich, character we need to start to round out fill out more acolytes. But if you're going to give us acolytes, you need Exodus. And then my number one would be in a line with the community's number one, and I will say Rachel Summers, mainly because I'm a bit biased to UK repping, and I'd love to display the Excalibur team on my shelf as they appear on the front cover. Like, I'd love to have a shelf where you have these standing as such. So yeah, Rachel will be my number one, and hopefully we can tick all three off in 2025. But that is what we have so far. I'll read a couple out from the chat. Quinn Comics is watching. Shout out Quinn. Hello everybody in the comic shop. How are you doing this evening? Make sure you spend some money at Quinn Comics. He says Albert in third place. Albert, if it was Albert and LCD, probably would have snuck into the top three, but with Albert, I'd always just still want LCD. So, but yeah, great choice. Albert is his free. Outback Psylocke. See, he's cheating. He's put Outback Psylocke, and Psylocke wasn't in our list, Quinn Comics. I told you, don't cheat. Outback Psylocke would probably be on my number one if she was on our list. But me and Rich got duped by that last year. We talked about her last year a lot, and it never happened. So we don't want to curse ourselves again this year. Because what did we think? It turned out to be Lady Mandarin, didn't it, last year?
Lady Mandarin, yeah.
Yeah, and it was about this time last year as well. We would have been talking about her. So we're just going to keep our mouth shut and Outback Psylocke and hope that they give us Betsy in the pink at some point. Because Wolverine gives her that armor to protect her, because if that's the bond they have. So yes, I'll take first appearance Betsy as well. But yeah, Psylocke, and we need a new Asian Psylocke as well. So give us all the Psylocke. Give us a timeline of Psylocke's in a free pack. All right, that'll please me very much. Thank you.
I like to think of Wolverine and he's just I just got all this pink and purple armor just laying about. Why did I give it to you? I'll just stick to the yellow tiger stripes. Thanks very much.
I reckon he asked someone for a bit of assist and then just took credit for it. He was like, Beast, Hank, mate, do you want to help me out and give me this armor? Okay, so Queen Comics was cheating on us straight away. He said, sorry, I had to put her in there. It's okay. We forgive you. We understand. Let me read out some more. Professor Soundwave says Exodus, Senyaka, Rachel Summers for me. Todd says Ahab, Exodus, Senyaka. Damien says Senyaka, Razor, and Ahab. It's three Senyakas so far. I've got some Acolyte love in the chat. Lucius Left Foot, Rachel Summers, Exodus, and Cecilia. Am I saying that right? Cecilia? I'm getting paranoid.
Yeah, well done. Well done. You do good.
Thank you. Greg Finstad, the mysterious variant of a man. He says Razor, Exodus, and Rachel. Michael says Razor, Exodus, and Rachel. Mikey Moonboots, Mystique, Exodus, Albert. Gary says Stealth Suit Wolverine is his number one. Angel Seeker says Mystique, Exodus, and Storm. Kevin says Exodus, Rachel, Cecilia, as I want to complete that X-Men team from the 90s. Is that Marvel? Says Rachel, Exodus, and Cecilia. Max Miller says Rachel from the Excalibur classic Mystique remake and the Aussie team armored Psylocke. People are cheating with this Psylocke love in the chat, because now Jamie said Rachel, Psylocke, and Rachel. So people are just cheating. I'm just going to stop reading out the comments in the chat because you're all big cheaters. And by the way, we need one more super chat for the extra show to be public, because we're wrapping up the stream now. We're approaching 10 o'clock, so we're going to wrap up the stream, and unless we get a super chat in the next couple of minutes, then the bonus show will be hidden to the public. You'll never know about all the dirt that we are talking on that bonus show. But if you are a part of the Who Crew Deluxe, you already know we are going to be there straight after this. Who Crew Deluxe, start hitting me up with those fresh DMs. No Legend of Liquor this week, so this is your opportunity for your toy talk fix. And of course, we're going to be asking you let's ask them what good guy would they like on the orange card, and what bad guy would they like on the purple card. So just two picks, a good guy and a bad guy. Orange card, purple card.
And you can choose anyone. You can choose Armored Psylocke then, to your heart's content.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be from my list. If you come on the show later, you can pick an orange card and purple card that you'd like to see in 2025. Doesn't have to be from mine and Richard's list. Can be any character you want, but just one good guy, one bad guy. One orange, one purple. We will see you very shortly. Will it be public? That is up for the community to decide. One more super chat. It's up to you. Okay, I'll read out a few more because I'm nice. Pixel Plastic says Team X, Wolverine, Albert, and Mystique. And Omega says Celia number one, Rachel, and Exodus. So I think everybody got a mention at some point there, Rich, from today's list, I think. I don't
think Outback Storm got any love, just for me by myself.
I think someone threw an Outback Storm in there somewhere. I think someone did out there, maybe. But there's still, I'd take every character from today's list. I really would. I really am a fan of the orange card. if I had more walls, I told you, if I had a hexagon house, then I absolutely would. And Legion X,
Legion 10 donated $5
for the people.
For the people.
For the people. Rick's done that twice now for the people. Rick, the people appreciate you. The after show, we have hit our goal. Look, it's a celebration. Look at that goal achieved, people. The Dan Who Extra will be public, so follow us over to the after show. I will put the link into the chat right now so you can follow us over. We're going to have a group of guests talk about this X-Men card with you. Let's put that in the chat. Dan Extra show link. All right, there you go. That is in the poll right now. So, Rich, any final thoughts on this X-Men card? How many do you reckon we're going to see this year? Do you reckon we're going to get at least, like, is it going to be a wave split throughout the year? So we're going to get 6?
I'd say at least 4, because these exclusives tend to be in batches of 4, don't they? So if we've had 2, I could see another 2 turning up this year. So again, if one of them is that Mystique, then I would imagine maybe 2 more purple ones, maybe 2 villains to end out the year if we've had 2 heroes on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. Wouldn't mind that at all. I'm just making the after show public for the people. Because I always forget to do it. So I'm doing it while I'm live so I don't forget. All right, thank you.
And don't forget, everyone, as well, if you are a massive fan of the orange card bar, then you can, of course, purchase the Dan Who Hellfire Hank t-shirt version, which Dan is now wearing now, and it's available to purchase down below.
I'll slip you that $5 later, people. All right, there you go. Look at that. Bringing us back to that nostalgia. Shout out Mini Plastic Multiverse, of course. Tom put this together. It's just a tribute to the Dan Who channel. We've got a few little accessories with a look. The accessory is literally a bottle of Koppelberg. That is on point. Hellfire Hank and Frogman are there as well. Yeah, shout out Mini Plastic Multiverse for the OG top. Available in different colours, by the way. There's a nice white one as well. And there are also a few, there is the new Who Crew design as well, based on the card, which I am going through the process of sending out as well. So go and check out the merch if you want to show support. I always appreciate it, but you know I love you all the same. But yes, we're going to get out of here now. Thank you everyone to the chat. I'm going to end the poll. So the poll was, what Marvel Legends retro card are you most nostalgic about? With over 200 votes in today's poll, taking over 50% of the vote. It is very much on theme, Rich. Maybe it's just talking about it that has got people feeling nostalgic. But X-Men win today's poll with 54% of the vote. Spider-Man coming in second place. But yeah, you said other, didn't you? You said you would have voted other. But Generation X or X-Men, that's in the X-Men category. That would have counted. Fair game. All right, so we're going to go over to the bonus show, people. If you are part of the Who Crew Deluxe, then you can start hitting me up with those fresh DMs to be part of the show. Everybody else can come along and watch while we are live before it goes back behind the channel membership wall, all right? So you can thank everybody in the chat for the super chats. And again, God knows who that Friday was. That was a surprise to even me. I will have to try and get to the bottom of that because that freaked me out. It definitely wasn't the Friday's voice that we are familiar with. Friday's been kidnapped or got a cold or got AI. Something's happened. We will get to the bottom of it. But until then, Rich, tell the good people where they can find you online.
You can find me on Displayed Once on Instagram and here most Thursdays as well.
Absolutely. We will be back next week. We will figure out a topic. As I said, we think there's going to be a little bit of a Marvel Legends news lull for the time being, unless they sneak out some of that Spider-Man show.
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah. Have you watched that show? Any good?
I haven't watched any of it yet. No, I will give it a watch this weekend. Hopefully.
I'll give it a watch as well, because I do think we might get a surprise hit of some of those figures if, again, the rumours are to be true. But so far, they've been pretty bang on, so there's no reason not to believe it as of this moment. But we shall see. Until things are shown to us, it's all just rumour and in your window, worthy of conversation. But we'll get out of here. We're going to go over to the bonus show now, so we will see you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody, whatever you are doing. January is nearly over. We're nearly there, people. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. It's been a long month, but click one of these videos. Go check out the Spider-Man reviews. I know you guys are getting them right now. They're hitting the UK this coming week as well, so everybody can get a chameleon on your shelf. Remember to check the bout. Make sure your bout works. If not, you can stick it on another character and maybe a chameleon all along. Alright? Click something. Bye-bye.